Yeah, I think we should take some of the chairs from that front and put them in the back.
We need people to kind of come over and tighten up because we need more space.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who are in the lobby, you actually clear towards the back. more standing room. But you might end up in the program, you get to hear the program from speakers out here as well. Thanks for all the time. I told everyone who didn't hear me, but I want to let everyone up front know that there's chairs and empty chairs in the back, rather than more standing room. And also the program, you'll be able to hear it out here from the speakers in case there's not enough room in the back. There's room in the back for seats and more standing room.
Totally different. Starting soon. We have a seat for our seat. Please reserve tickets for our participants and possible. Ladies and gentlemen, please be sure that you are not leaning on the artwork. It is very expensive and you will have to buy it. The minimum painting this gallery goes for $3,500. So please find someone to stand it's not directly close to the art. I might have to slide. It's never that clear. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. All right, so thank you all for coming to the orders of business. We have several open seats. We need you to fill these seats in so there can be more standing room. I see about 10 chairs in the middle or so. There's 2 up here, 1 here. Elders and all right, nobody can take chairs. So still have here we go. afternoon, everybody. First of all, my name is Jasiri Davidson. I am the older brother of Jasiri. And I would like to thank you on behalf of the family for coming out today in the celebration of life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give Jasiri a round of applause. So there's so many of you here. I'm going to set a few ground rules when it comes to the space. We're all doing a great job right now, and the noise does carry in here. But we do want to make sure that we're able to hear all the folks who are going to share their stories about Jasiri. So thank you for keeping the whispering and murmuring to a minimum. Are there any more seats in the back row? Are there any more seats back there? So we still have about 2-3 more seats. That we need somebody to fill in so there can be more standing room. Let's give a round of applause to the Bridge Art Gallery for allowing us to have time here today. We're going to be good guests, so let's make sure that we don't knock over any artwork, try not to lean on it. I know some of you are really close to it on the sides, but maybe there's some other places you can stand. Again, I think the cheapest ticket is $3,500 or something like that. Yeah. You bring it, you buy it. You bring it, you buy it. That was your ticket for all these arts and people. So. Yeah, there's some more space on this side. If you all can fill in some chairs. We also like to welcome those of you who are on the live stream. I think I saw about 40 people on it the last time I checked. So the international audience, thank you all for joining us. It means a lot to the family and to the series that you all came out to celebrate. So let's get started. We are here to celebrate the life of Jasiri Davidson. And you're going to hear from a lot of people today. Some of them don't know they're going to speak yet, but I'm sure they'll do a great job anyway. Jasiri has tons of friends, tons of family. I hope you all have had a chance to get a program. You might not have a program. Don't like a program? It's been way too much time on these. But you'll notice our agenda for today starts with family reflections with Jasiri's aunts, who we're blessed to have with us in person today. After that, we're going to hear from several of Jasiri's friends as part one, and we're going to go into another section of family reflections. The cousins section, we might actually do that a little bit later in the program, because several of those are videos. We'll hear from Jasiri's mother. I might say something later, right around 4:26 p.m., which is his birthday. We would like to have a toast for Jasiri. And some more friends, and then our father is going to make a last statement before we go into our food, beverage, party section. Jasiri Jam is basically what this music that he liked. So, without further ado, this is being unreadiness. We would like to bring up Auntie Pat to have some reflections about her nephew. Oh, yes. Reminder, please silence your cell phones so either do not disturb, silent, or vibrate.
Good afternoon. I'm Patricia Shelton from Nashville, Jasiri's favorite aunt. And I can claim that because I'm the oldest of representatives, all his kids. And I talked to Jasiri, I think the most. All of us claim privilege, but I'm claiming special privilege. Did you talk? I don't know. I said, Jasiri did the joke. You did do our story. He called his aunt to see how I was doing every month. Usually when I called him, he was on his way to work. And he said, Auntie, don't worry about it. I'll get there. But you can call me anytime. And I said, you can call me anytime. I just need to hear your voice and know that you're okay. And I'm good. Okay? But being 83 years old, you think about the people that you love in your family. Jasiri and Hakeem were some of the first kids that were born. So they're the older ones that were born in the family. And naturally, the younger cousins wouldn't know them as well as I did. And since they live so far away from us, they can come down every now and then. So I'm only gonna share two of my precious memories of him, because he was very precious to me, okay? But Jasiri was unapologetic about anything he did when he was hungry. Okay? And one of his things, if he's hungry, he has to eat. When Joe and Carol first got married, the kids weren't eating pork. And they came down to visit us, and of course, we keep our appointment dates, and we go into youth day at Baptist Church. And I said, since you're here, that your mom and dad rest, you all go with us over to youth day. But they breakfast at home, but when we went to youth day, went to sleep, woke up in time for lunch. When he woke up, they didn't have beef or chicken or hot dogs, they just had the pork ones out, and just, our people's always told the brother living there, still you can't have that. He said, yes, I am, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat it. So he had him a sandwich, he ate his and our people. He was fine, he was always manful, always doing anything you needed him to do, but he couldn't be hungry. He was hungry. But my most precious memory of Jasiri, now I got a lot of them, but most precious was when my father died, and we had to sit according to age. When we were the oldest daughter, I was sitting there by myself, okay? Everybody else was sitting with their kids and all that stuff. My kids was there, but they put us all in front of our door, all right? Jasiri came down, he got my hand, gave me a hug in the kitchen. Auntie, I don't want you sitting by yourself. He held my hand throughout the whole service. Did not turn it loose until we left to go to the grave site, okay? And then we needed anything, he water, he this, whatever he thought I wanted, he was there to prepare for me. And then now anything I can do for you ever, Auntie, just let me know. Now, we live a distance away, and I know you can't travel like you used to, but I can travel. And I really appreciate him for that, because he looked out for everybody. He wasn't always there, but he was aware of who he had to take care of, because his mom, and so we were always a close family. So we always looked out for each other. I love him to pieces, and I appreciate being here to honor his memory, because he was a very, very special person. Not only in my life, but in the eyes of the Lord. Thank you very much.
It's up to you. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you, Auntie Pat. We will now hear from Auntie Ricky, also known as Ruby Justin. Who's going to share some great religious knowledge.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm so honored to be here. It's a very sad thing. I enjoy it. I'm happy because I see you. When I came to see Jasiri on September 29th, I flew in from Birmingham. I've been down taking some foot soldiers with the 53 confrontation. And when I heard that it was near, I left and I came here. Jasiri is so precious to me. I'm going to tell you about two incidents. The first one was at a park, a musical park. And he loved fun. And it was a wave, you know how the waves get to you. And he kept saying, Auntie Ricky, I'm drowning. And I was like, Mama, I can drown some. Because he liked the word and he kept it. So when I think of drowning now, I always think of drowning. And the next incident I'm going to tell you about is when we were in Washington, D.C. It was January 7th. My daddy was receiving the Presidential Medal of Honor, and Carolyn and Jasiri came to be there with us. And on the picture I saw in the pictures, there's a picture of Jasiri, Daddy, and Gary. And he came and told me, he said, Auntie Ricky, and Gary and Granddaddy, when they first saw each other, they both said at the same time, I can't wait to meet you. I forget how I said it, I'm just upset now. But I just wait to meet you or whatever. But they both went to each other in joy. Jasiri was a special person. He loved people. He took their things to heart and he listened to you. One thing I like is all my nieces, and I got a lot of nieces and nephews, they call me Auntie Ricky. But Jasiri called me Auntie Ricky. When I came to see him, September 29th, March, what month? March 29th. He called me Auntie Ruby Ricky. And I just, but he was a special person, and we know he's special, because look at this room. I thank you. Jasiri was a gift. He told you that God is good by his life, and he tried to be good to everybody that he dealt with. And each of our experiences with Jasiri have been different. They have been unique, and they have been loving, because he was a kind child. Thank you.
All right, I lied. We are going to have one of these cousins meet right now. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Deetra. It's just a pleasure to be here. So Jasiri and I kind of met a long time ago. We were little ones, and as my aunts have beautifully shared, he lived so far away and stood out, and we both have the pleasure of kind of being distant cousins. And we traveled quite a bit. And so I'm so proud and privileged to be here on behalf of all of his cousins who love him tremendously. And so without getting too emotional, I'm going to read a poem and try to represent our family well. So here's something that we all kind of agree upon when we think about this beautiful man that we're here to celebrate today. So with grace, please, it's a poem called Someone Special. In moments shared, both small and grand, you gave the heart a guiding hand. Like quiet waves upon the sand, warming, your love would ripple through the land. A gentle laugh, a knowing smile. Strength endured through every mile. And we know we had quite a few. Someone special all the while, you walk with grace in every mile. In morning light and soft winds too, we feel the quiet and the strength of you. Your spirit shines in all that we do, a legacy that is forever true. Now you rest where stars shine through, and in peaceful realms beyond our view. We miss your voice, we miss your warmth, your cheer. I'm going to add laugh, because I miss your voice from here. And keep you in our hearts so near we will do. Jasiri, we all absolutely 1,000% love you.
Amen.
Thank you. All right. So, Jasiri has a lot of friends, as you can see from this turnout. And we would like to hear from some of the ones who Jasiri either identified or we just have always known about or heard about over the years. There are several claimants to being Jasiri's best friend. We're not going to have a trial or anything like that today, but we are going to see who loves Jasiri the most in their speeches. All right, so for those of you who are already on that list, I just saw order. Where is Chad?
Right here.
I actually was going to say I don't care about your order. I'm going first because I'm going to get that other thing ready afterwards. So I did not see your text.
I guess it works out.
Chad, man.
Well, I'm going to call us out. This is Soul Mega.
All right.
So just so everyone knows, when I was talking to Hakimu the other day about the stuff I was bringing, he asked what I do for a living. I said I sell alcohol. And he said, I know another guy that's in the alcohol industry. This guy, Elliot, he has a brewery in D.C. called Soul Mega. And I said, I sell that beer. So that's what this beer is, if everyone wants to have one. All right. Hakimu told me that I was not allowed to wing it. I have nothing prepared. He also said that I had to be under 2 minutes. He also said that we're not allowed to cry. We will see. Try my best. I met Jasiri 22, maybe 23 years ago at a party in college, not at my house. And I said, hey, I'm Chad. Who are you here with? And I'm pretty sure he was there with Don. And I said, what's your name? He said, I am Batman. And he never told me his real name. And then he started showing up to parties at my house with Don. And he didn't tell me his real name for at least one or two of them. And honest to God, I cannot remember how or when we actually became friends that hung out just the two of us. I know after that, we would go to TGI Fridays all the time because you guys were all working there, and I got to know him well there. But at some point, he and I became friends that hung out alone. And over the years, Jasiri and I, it's like I told his dad, like I would go a year without talking to him sometimes. One time, Jasiri didn't talk to me for a year because I sent him a text message that was more than 3 sentences. And that is not an exaggeration. But no matter how many times we drifted apart, sometimes violently, we always would come back together. And, he was one of my everlasting friends. And I'll keep it short, but one of the biggest impacts he had on my life is that one night we were hanging out at his apartment when he used to live at the apartments next to the McDonald's on Main Street, which whenever I went in, I always felt like I was in an episode of The Wire, like the only tower apartments in Newark. And he was talking to me about all this nerdy crap that he liked, which I like nerdy crap too, but he was way nerdier than me. And he's trying to explain about this alien that's immortal and all this. And he says, let me show you an episode of this TV show called Doctor Who. And so for anybody that knows anything about that, the episode that he showed me was one called Blink. And so my call to action for you all, he said that should always be your first episode. So my call to action for you all is if you want to get a real piece of Jasiri, do yourself a favor, look up an episode of the show called Doctor Who, called Blink, and you can watch that standalone without knowing anything else about the show. And I left his apartment that night and I went to Blockbuster Video. That's how long ago this was. And I said, I need Doctor Who on DVD. And the guy said, I don't know what the hell that is. And I ended up having to steal it off the internet, as you do. And I developed a deep obsession with it that he and I shared as something to watch together and talk about for years to come. And the last, I loved him very much. And I would just say this for the people that know. Life moves fast, faster than you can even believe. Don't turn your back, don't look away, and don't win.
All right.
He was trying to cut us down for 2 minutes, but I mean, no consequences. All right. Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Chelsea. Jasiri is one of my best friends. I had the honor of being on the receiving end of his love, his humor, his unwavering support, and sassy remarks for the past almost 6 years, which admittedly is basically as far back as I can remember. And although it was only 6 years, it feels like I've known him forever. But I wanted more time, and I could have had more time, and Jasiri deserved more time. But he also deserved peace. He deserved peace, painless days, and restful nights. During one of his final days, Jasiri told me something that brought me comfort in the moment, and I wanted to share that with all of you in hopes that would bring you comfort as well. I was sitting with him as he slept, trying to force my brain to remember everything about him, and when he woke up and looked at me. He smiled and said, I can walk in my dreams. I returned his smile and I asked him if that meant he would like to sleep some more so that he could dream. And as he said yes and fell back asleep, I continued to memorize him. The way his hand felt to mine, the softness of his skin, the curve of his mouth, the chicken's nose, his all-encompassing warmth, in some weak attempt to hold on to whatever bit I could of my beautiful friend for a little bit longer. But to know he was walking in his dreams and most likely dancing his heart out, and at peace, that was relieving, that was comforting. And as my tears fell silently and I continued to watch him, that is what I held on to. And that's what I hope all of you hold on to as well. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you ask, my brain does this thing where I cannot recall things in my head visually. So instead of all those things about him I tried to burn into my brain to no avail, I will remember him dancing, and he was always dancing. I will remember him singing. I will remember his witty humor, his passion for things he cared about and things he really did not. I will remember his intelligence, and the sound of his laugh, and how good it felt to see his face light up when I walked into the room. I choose to remember all of the good. Being Jasiri's friend has been one of the greatest honors in my life. Even when he ditched me at Firefly or called me Duncan Gimpy for years after my car accident. Even when he responded with I know, after one of my many, many, many I love yous. Because I just love him so much and I could never tire of telling him. I miss you every day, Jasiri, and I will miss you every day more. But grieving you means that I got to love you, and I get to continue to do so. And missing you is the easiest thing I can do if that means you are not in pain anymore. And yeah, maybe I'm a little obsessed with you. I really, truly cannot help it. I'm almost done. I swear. I just want to finish with a poem called It's Your First Day on Earth by Sarah Ryan. It's your first day on Earth. And I show you how birds sing songs in the sky, and whales sing in the sea, and we sing while we cook in warm kitchens. I point to a mother holding an infant to her chest, and then to a willow tree dancing in the wind. I pull out a photo of someone I love, this guy, as I teach you about memories. You have never seen such magic. You ask how I could ever feel sad, because none of this lasts forever. So you ask how I still smile, because it existed.
I don't see you here.
He's here.
Or Anthony.
They're both here.
No? Denise? No pictures. Thank you.
Straight from New York City.
Hi everyone, my name is Anik. Akimu, my eyes are sweating.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
not crying because we're not allowed to cry, so it's okay. I run hot. I have some notes. I wrote these things for Jasiri. We met at a restaurant and bonded over Dr. We got along so well, and were so frequently attached that people thought we were in love. And really, the truth wasn't that far off. My first friend at my first server job, my best friend at the worst gig in town. Our friendship is cataloged in grainy vignettes from a time when Instagram was still just a digital photo sleeve of overly compressed images, 640 pixel squares with digital brushstroke borders, and a meticulously chosen filter to enhance the aesthetic. Valencia added a subtle antique overlay to the pictures, like they were physical copies that had sun-aged with time. In fact, all of my memories from that period feel like Valencia. Warm, kissed by the sun, near adolescent vitality captured in all its wide-eyed wonder. All of my memories with Jasiri feel like summertime, even when they decidedly were not. Even when Rob had us trek through 10 inches of snow because, God forbid, Route 13 go without boneless wings for a day. Even when guests went primal for not immediately receiving their next portion of endless Parmesan fries. Even when I hand-clapped my way into an indomitable rage because a team member refused to bust their tables and dared to call me petty. Even when they warned our branch that we couldn't call the cops anymore or we'd be shut down for being public nuisance. There were still late-night angry orchards with Jasiri at the bar once the place was empty. And Jasiri twerking at the dish pit. And Jasiri, exhilarated and astonished, interrupting my righteous fury and dragging me away from my colleague to calm me down. Jasiri forevermore commemorating that moment as the time I was blackout petty. Jasiri understanding what it was like to be deemed the not black enough black kid. Jasiri being just as nerdy and goofy as I was. There's car rides with Jasiri and Taco Bell trips with Jasiri, Doctor Who with Jasiri, laughter with Jasiri, hugs with Jasiri. Jasiri, Jasiri, Jasiri. No, the truth is never that far off. We don't have enough photos together, but photos don't do justice to the moments I've shared with Jasiri anyway. I love him just as fiercely now as I did when we saw each other daily, and all the wiggly, wobbly, timey-wimey distance in time between Delaware and New York, 2014 and 2026. I never told you because it's not the sort of thing to tell, but I've heard your voice in my mind saying, "Hi, birdie," for likely a decade now. We were walking and you said it to a bird as you passed. It was just a moment and I didn't comment on it, but it was just such a sweet flicker of your personality. God, you were so often so cantankerous, pithy, full of wit, and you were also full of sweetness and love.
Jasiri, Jasiri, love makes the day
As often as I
turn
see birds,
into
that's
the
how
night. Jasiri.
I'll send a greeting to you, and the birds can fly my regards to you straight up to heaven. So here's my ode to you, Jasiri. Hilarious, brilliant, absolutely wonderful Time Lord friend. I love you to Gallifrey and back.
All right. California in the house.
California, my way, Utah. I work in California, so you're not wrong. And Seattle and all those places. So hi everybody, I'm Tom. If you don't know me, and you probably don't, hi, I'm Tom. I had known Jasiri since college. Quinn knew Jasiri through me because he did. It is some hard stuff to do. So when my mom died, December 2024, there's a picture in there of me and Jasiri that my mom took, and that was in her nightstand. Like, that's how much she loved him. She knew how great he was. You know, that was the kind of person he was. I feel like, hey, that goofy ass guy with that beautiful man, and I got that blue shirt on, that's me. Hi. Just, reference. Anyway, I've known him since college. I loved him every day, the day I met him. I knew we were going to, I knew I was going to do a photo.
Hold it. Hold the button.
Hold the button?
Mm-hmm.
Did I turn it back on? I'm loud, so it's okay. I can do this. Okay. So, yeah, loved him the very day I met him. Made an ass of myself constantly around him because I loved him so much. We got to do so many great things together. Something I've been wanting to do, diagnosis or not, was bring him out west. We planned a trip. He didn't quite make it. And I know today's no regrets, but I'm going to regret that forever because I didn't get back out here to see him. No, I appreciate that. I do. But I don't think I can love anybody more. I don't. And I don't think my mom loved anybody as much. I mean, she loved this man. She loved this man. Just to death. I think she would have traded us. I get it. I respect it. I get it. And, you know, I never faulted him for it. I promise you that. I'm going to miss him every single day. I've got no prepared words. I'm a wreck. I'm probably, like, just covered in tears and snot and grossness. We've been up for 40 hours with red-eye flights, you know. So I'm going to leave it at that. I love you all, and I love Jasiri with my whole heart.
Hakeem's text said Tom and Quinn, so we're a package deal. It's like Bert and Ernie or something. No. Different. I'm Quinn. I know Jasiri through Tom, and for me, Jasiri is the biggest nerd. Like Doctor Who and Star Trek, and like you would see him typing and have those 3 dots. And those 3 dots would be there for 20 minutes because you knew something big was coming in. And it was like a 25-minute rant about an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And his joy was complete. And his anger was complete. And he was one of the most honest and beautiful people I've ever known. And yeah, like Tom said, we're going to love him forever. So we're honored to be here and be here with Jasiri because we love him.
Any other friends of Jasiri who are on the list who'd like to come up? Go ahead and start calling names. All right. Jasiri would not want you to be shy. He wants to hear all the great things about him, so please do. Once again, a few people are a little too close to the artwork on the wall, so you could make sure we're not leaning on paintings if you don't plan on purchasing. You can purchase this. Please be a little bit cognizant of where you are. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am one of the newer friends to Jasiri. Known him just about 3 years, but you'll know what I mean when I say it feels like much longer. And it will also come as no surprise to any of you that I fell in love with this man instantly upon meeting him. And when I thought about being up here today, I asked myself, what side of him can I share with all of you that maybe I got to see more often because of our connection? And what can I impart that I learned from that? And so immediately I thought of our connection through mental health. I'm a therapist. Jasiri was very intrigued by that. And he was an outspoken advocate for disabled people and for access to mental health care. When it was a good therapist, Jasiri really loved going to therapy. He believed in it, he engaged in it, and he had his own way of interacting with it. He took great pride in influencing me to be a better therapist. He would very frequently, and it was welcomed, send me instructions, mostly through therapy memes, formats as well, but those were the best ones. These memes were not random, no. He was giving me targeted feedback. Like him, the memes were always funny and always incredibly observant. They said something real about being human, about what people want, and about how connection between people actually works. So instead of trying to summarize him in a few perfect sentences, I want to share a few lessons from what I think as his unofficial therapy curriculum. So take these to your therapist. They're Jasiri approved. First, the love languages are woefully incomplete. Per Jasiri, we also need to add acts of bagel, quality memes, words of spelled correctly, and texting someone, "This made me think of you," before immediately sending something absolutely unhinged. Second, if you are going to quote a problematic psychologist like Freud, he pointed out Freud specifically, it's totally okay as long as you make sure to always say yikes right after. Which honestly is not a bad rule. Third, never, ever, ever trust a therapist who has bangs. I do not make the rules, Jasiri does. Fourth, that technique of therapeutic silence, where the therapist notices that you're not contributing much to the session, and so they just sit there and stare at you until you get uncomfortable enough that you fill the void with what you were actually thinking and feeling. Jasiri said no. He said, I'm paying you my fee, and that's what I want to see your razzle dazzle. Again, his words, not mine. And finally, you don't actually need a perfectly worded boundary. Sometimes, and I quote, you shall not pass. You'll do the job just fine. And as funny as all of that is, what's underneath of it is something that's real. Jasiri paid attention. He saw people clearly, he understood how human we all are, and he reached out in these small, consistent ways that said, I thought of you. So if there's anything worth carrying forward from him, it's that we need to think of people. You need to tell them that you thought of them. And yes, send the meme. And I will leave you all by saying the last thing that he ever said to me. And that's, I love you.
Give a round of applause to Jasiri's friends. Okay, so we were going to go to another section of family reflections. I believe I have conquered the technology issues and we'll be able to play the pleasant videos. But we are going to start with Dean and Rob first, and then I'll get those videos going. We can get those greetings remotely from live via satellite, or wherever they see these things.
I'm Dean Watson. I'm Jasiri's stepmother. Jasiri. He was too much for this world. Too beautiful. Too tree bark brown. A doe-eyed soul who saw too much. Too quick to slow down for the rest of us. A restless spirit. A will of a wisp for those who tried and tried to catch him. He was too gay to be happy unless he really was happy. Too impatient to suffer our foolishness. Too tenacious to give in or up or out, except in a time, place, or circumstance of his own choosing. Too certain to ponder or please or pander for what others might want or think. Too kind sometimes, too loving sometimes, too nonchalant sometimes, too cool sometimes, leaving us all out in cold. He was too sarcastic for diplomacy, when sarcasm was called for. Too wise to be contrary, when cooperation was necessary. Too shining a star to fade to black too soon. Too human for the pain. And when the world was too much for him, he left us.
Hello, I'm Rob Watson. I am Jasiri's brother by marriage, Jasiri's brother by blackness, Jasiri's brother by fairness, Jasiri's brother by equality and self-defense and the importance of mental safety. I am Jasiri's brother in a lot of things. I met Jasiri, I was a full adult, an only child. When you're an only child, maybe when you're little, you're like, oh, I wish I had a brother, sister. That's not real, right? We like the attention and the focus. We see other people's siblings and we're like, no. Jasiri, however, as a black kid in the 80s who was the only black kid who was watching Dr. Who, was the only black kid who religiously watched Star Trek. Jasiri, this only child, would have gave up all of those only child delectables to grow up with him. I'm going to keep this short. I have a bunch of stories, but I will tell you. Jasiri, I'm from Philly. And Jasiri was always poking at us, man. And I could never be like, what's up? Like, what is the thing? And he would, we would be the butt of jokes. And for someone from Philly, it takes a lot for us to be like, all right, you got it. Sorry. He was the only one. Anybody else? We got to work it out. But Jasiri got a pass from me about that because he gave me a pass to love him. I visited him in the hospital a couple times. I don't even know how this started, but we would always end our conversations, I love you. You know where we stand. And the other person would say, I do. You know where we stand, bro. And I will hear you say, I do, until we meet again.
Hi, I wanted to offer a small tribute in honor.
Oh, don't embarrass me now. Play the video. Well, let's try this one.
My cousin Jasiri. Here we are. The second to the last of our clan.
Living. All right, looks like I don't have technology after all. Okay.
All right, so the videos are not working the way I intended for his cousins, but my big cousins Tony Barnes and Reverend Steve Bester, and Megan, and my little cousin, Siri's big cousin, and Dr. Angela Phillipsworth all sent beautiful greetings that I will make sure at some point you're all able to view. For those of you who are watching this online, there is an online version of the program, so feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to see it. Those of you who are on YouTube, I believe I posted the link in the chat. Just like with comic books, it's actually a deluxe version of the program with extra photos and extra thank yous and list all the people who donated to the GoFundMe that we put up some months ago to help the series fight colon cancer. List everybody who donated to that as well. So, what time is it?
409.
409, okay. All right.
It'll take us 15 minutes to pass these things through the room.
It might. We're almost ready for the toast. We have a few more things that we're going to do before that. I'm terrified this other video is not going to work, but I'd like to call my mother, Dr. Carolyn Phillipsworth, up to the stage. One more. Okay, let's try this one more time.
Jasiri, then once again it brings back the light. Jasiri, I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love.
Hello, Jasiri. We, the women of In Process, send you greetings and warm wishes. We remember when, as an 8-year-old artist, you drew a picture of your mother with Free South Africa emblazoned on her arm. We knew you were listening to our music and gaining that world perspective. This is Mother's Song, and the first line was written by Sister Sonia Sanchez, prepared your naming ceremony. We remember you.
Jasiri, Jasiri, love makes the day turn into the night. Jasiri, Jasiri, then once again it brings back the light. Jasiri, I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love. Jasiri.
Jasiri.
Jasiri. Jasiri. We love you. We love you.
Wow, what a beautiful gathering. Thank all of you for coming and sharing this celebration with me. Parenthood, life's greatest challenge and greatest reward. I'm honored to have ushered into the world 3 beautiful sons who learned, like Orville and Wilbur Wright, like James Weldon and John Rosamond Johnson, the tremendous power of brothers working together. And I can say of Jasiri in particular that he was easy, so easy to love and be with. And I cherish the exquisite bonds we share and hold on to the courage he showed even as he fought this vicious disease. So I want to say to you, if you're a friend of Jasiri, you're a friend of mine. Keep it in mind. In these 25 days, I have drawn comfort from this lullaby you heard and encouragement from his music. Courage, the way he made you feel, seen, heard, and affirmed. So I'd like you to keep it
and use the song as encouragement. His name means courage. So I'll sing it now. Keep courage, keep courage. Love makes the day turn into the night. Keep courage, keep courage. Then once again, it brings back the light. Keep courage. I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love. I feel your love. Thank you.
I'm not following that. All right, so we have a toast to Jasiri if you'd like to do. Some of our distinguished friends are going to help us pass the champagne out, starting right now, and then we'll go into our toast. And us as a collective room will toast Jasiri. So there's some instructions coming from the back of the room to receive your champagne. So please listen to Chad and Dr. Downey as they get this distributed. Live stream will still be here, but we're going to take about a 5-minute break for you all as we get everything going with this. I'll try to play the cousin videos while we do that.
All right, got some deliveries.
Yeah.
As you chose. I love you, man. I appreciate all the fun you always brought. Just great laughs we had with you as a kid. Just coming here to Cincinnati, sharing time with you, but we're going to miss you. And we know that your life was meaningful to so many people, but we just want to I want to let you know, we love you, me and Cass. We appreciate you being the littlest guy in our wedding 36 years ago now. And we just loved you, man. And again, you're in the best place with God. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So we appreciate you for all that you are. I love you, man. We'll see you on the other side.
I'll take two. You got one? You want?
I think you need to.
Non-alcoholic beverage. Raise your hand if you do.
Me and my dad, and then it's almost over after that. Okay, so just Homer was asking me, take out the chairs to more people to stay in the room.
Keep your hand raised.
So just non-alcoholic program. Tell everybody.
The second to the last of our clan bringing up the rear, I just thank you. I choose to use this moment to thank you for your choice to walk your path. So often, of our clan bringing up the rear, I just thank you. I choose to use this moment to thank you for your choice to walk your path. So often we are beat down and bombarded with expectations and just the weight of how we're supposed to show up in the world. But in my eyes, I felt that you were the cousin that truly let your freedom ring. In our own ways, we got to choose what our paths were. And when you're choosing you, you can never go wrong. I saw the evidence of that where I felt like I got to know the best parts of you at the end on that last day. The choice of who you had around you, the way that they didn't play about you, my love, the way that they had the chats going and were committed to you because you were committed to them. I heard so many stories of how you showed up, how you were a voice in a space. You weren't just giving up drinks. And people would think that it's what's in the bottle or in that glass, but it was the radically safe space that you were able to pour and stir something up in them that made them follow you wherever you went. How amazing. What a blessing you were, and what a blessing you continue to be. You have allowed me to, one, see your parents and them love on you in such a beautiful way. And of course, your big brother. He think he the boss of everybody's child. Do you know he had the nerve to call me and tell me what I could and couldn't say on my video? But we got to love him anyway. But that's because he protected you so much. And what a love that he knew you were worthy of it. And your daddy also got me eating better. Got me thinking about chickpeas and everything, because he can't be looking that good. We in our 40s. What's that going on, But all of that said, I thank you. I see this every day. One of my girlfriends got it for me that says, be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. And because we know that Jasiri was here, may we all continue to do that and do it in the love of you. I thank you, my cousin, and I wish I would have been closer in proximity, and I loved your honesty and your boundaries because you had me scared a little bit. However, it was like, I don't care. Your love was always worth it. And I know that you know it. And I'm grateful to know that you know you were loved. No matter how far that distance was, that love, it traveled to you and through you. I thank you for being you. And on this day, although we say farewell, we know that your presence is ever near. Thank you, Jasiri, for being here. I love you. Mwah!
I wanted to offer a small tribute in honor of my cousin Jasiri. Jasiri.
Here you go. This is my channel name, HEK224. And put this on there.
Guy. I remember him most and best when we were young kids, when they would come to Cincinnati. Jasiri was very small at the time. To offer a small tribute in honor of my cousin Jasiri. Jasiri was a kind and warm spirit, a gentle guy. I remember him most best when we were young kids and we would come to Cincinnati. Jasiri was very small at the time. Usually Stevie and I would be beating up on Hakeem, and Jasiri would kind of be there, but he was still always a warm, just a gentle kid, and and that's how he lived his life. At times like this, I think people look for silver linings, and a communication Hakeem and I had a couple weeks ago has stayed with me since that time. He said that obviously they were big Michigan fans, and one of the last things he got to do was to watch his Michigan Wolverines win the national basketball championship with his brother. And anybody who knows me, and Hakeem and I go back and forth, know I don't really rock with Michigan, but that story stayed with me, and it has, for some reason, given me a good feeling. So knowing that he left here, one of the last things he got to see was his team win is a good thing. And so, in honor of Jasiri and the guy that he was and the spirit that he leaves behind, I want to say, hail to the victors. Rest well, friend. I will always remember you.
Yeah.
A little context on that, my parents met as grad students at the University of Michigan. We have a lot of Ohio people in our family, so it is true. One of the last things Jasiri did was watch the national championship game with me. One more of these. All right, so that is going to be it. I'll get Megan's out later. And it's perfect timing. It's right at 4:26. Depending on what time your phone has. Does anyone not have some champagne and need one? I have an extra. Don't make me get alcohol. All right. Ms. Mack, you want to join us? Dr. Downey's got yours. All right, there's a room full of people here. Somebody doesn't want champagne? All right. All right, so we're going to toast to Jasiri as a group. And what that looks like is we will all, in a very orderly fashion, I'm sure, shout out our toast to him. I will start. To my brother Jasiri, the most amazing, loving, sophisticated, complex, thoughtful, protective. Oh, I said no crime, right? The best little brother you could possibly have. So that's my social. But anybody else have something to say, please shout it out.
I love you, Jasiri. That's the most sassiest man alive.
I love you.
Speak up so everybody can hear you, please.
Well, somebody said 86 Jasiri.
Anybody else? All right. It's time to settle back down. Okay, so thank you all for. This is what happens when you have open beer and wine. So I know it says Brothers Reflections right now, but I don't want to violate my own rules, so I'm going to read the obituary, but also would like to once again go through some acknowledgments and thanks. You can turn to the acknowledgments and thanks page and you will see a ton of them. That's my doing. I was told I had too many. But as you can see from the outpouring of love Jasiri has here, there's no limit on the number of people that we are thankful for. Once again, can we give a round of applause to this beautiful Bridge Art Gallery? Once again, please don't lean on the art. Some of y'all I got here the first time. I know it's very comfortable. It's also very expensive. I'd like to acknowledge Chad Dalton and the Prestige Joint Distributing Company for the beer and wine today. Round of applause. I think that should be louder so y'all clearly enjoying the beer and wine. Also want to acknowledge Pablo Funeral Home in Wilmington, Delaware, Park Lawn Memorial Park and Lenore Gardens in Rockville, Maryland, where Jasiri is currently hanging out. Crimson Tavern, where he was working most recently, the many generous GoFundMe contributors, and all of the people who are listed here. There's a lot of family here, a lot of friends here, a lot of people who have been influential in Jasiri's life, either recently or as children, and we just want to make sure that you all are thanked. So I will go and read the obituary as quickly as I can, because it is 800 words, but I think Jasiri's one. Somebody pass one of the waters? This one's worth $30,000. Jasiri Joseph Shuttlesworth Davidson was born on April 26, 1983 in Philadelphia to Dr. Carol Elizabeth Shuttlesworth and Joseph Davidson Jr. on his father's birthday. His parents took their time naming him before choosing Jasiri, the key Swahili word for courageous, in a naming celebration led by poet Sonia St. James. Throughout his life, Jasiri embodied the meaning of his name in his words and actions. His middle name is Joseph and Shuttlesworth honor his parents and grandfathers, Joe Davidson Sr. of Detroit, and civil rights activist leader, the Reverend Fred L. Shuttlesworth Sr. of Birmingham, Cincinnati. In 1984, the family, including me, moved to Washington, D.C., where Jasiri first attended the Early Childhood Center at Howard University, where his mother, a PhD in comparative literature, taught as a professor in the English department, and his father, a Hall of Fame journalist, a founder of the National Association of Black Journalists, lectured in the School of Communications. He would then attend Bunker Hill Elementary School, Deal Junior High School, and Wilson High School, which is now called Jackson Reed, in Washington, D.C. before attending the University of Delaware, where he majored in Asian Studies. At Bunker Hill, his acting talent became evident early in school assemblies and productions. He continued his action in theater pursuits, including set design of Dylan Wilson, and performed in many venues across the city. Jasiri and Hakeem had many days together, portraying characters from their comic books they read and collected, and of their own creation. You can find many of his drawings and ideas scribbled on notebooks and papers lying around the house. He was a talented young artist and a caring figure to his younger brother, Amani. A quick scholar, Jasiri also enjoyed soccer and took horseback riding lessons. He enjoyed travel, camping trips, and journeys to family reunions and theme parks as a child. Nana, our grandmother, would often make him his own chocolate cakes because his dad enjoyed them quite a bit. And one of Jasiri's famous quotes is, I want my own. I heard that a lot as a kid. I want my own. No hand-me-downs for Jasiri. He traveled as far west as San Diego and is international to South Africa with his father and older brother in 2001, I believe, or two. And as an adult, he went up and down the East Coast, attending many festivals, concerts, performances, and Comic Cons. When Granddaddy, Reverend Shuttlesworth, received the prestigious Presidential Citizens Award in 2001 for President Bill Clinton, Jasiri attended the ceremony at the White House. It's one of the many photos that you will see in the gallery. I think it's on the bottom left of the second page. After leaving college, Jasiri remained in Delaware and entered the hospitality industry, working as a server, bartender, and manager. His ready smile and witty banner made him a favorite with customers and colleagues alike. Jasiri loved sci-fi adventures and well-scripted dramas and relished all things Doctor Who, Marvel, Batman, and Star Trek related. He had a great eye for artistic quality and always had a nuanced, informed opinion on shows, music, and movies. He's also known for many memorable quotes, quips, and sayings, and love performing karaoke. Jasiri was charismatic, complex, intelligent, funny, fierce, loving, adventurous, fearless, and kind. among other things. Jasiri had a strong social media presence and an activist spirit. His posts were deeply socio-politically aware, and he was fiercely protective of Black and the LGBT communities, and a tireless advocate for all people of color, women, and other groups who face inequality, never shying away from correcting ignorance or intolerance. Jasiri also had a penchant for bringing facts with him. He showed no patience for inequality, prejudice, racism, sexism, and bigotry. His friends and followers received the benefits of his sharp perceptions and his direct corrections, and he gained many admirers for his eloquence and his fierce standards. Anthony DeDomenico, who is here with us today, a longtime friend of roommate, explained that pervasive admiration. Jasiri made me better. If you knew him, he left a mark. One of my favorite qualities about him was his unabashed honesty and his unwillingness to compromise his beliefs just to avoid confrontation or discomfort. One of the clearest measures of the impact on him was that our friendship did not stay contained between the two of us. It changed how I loved and understood other people. Jasiri was not always easy, and he was not generic. He was uniquely Jasiri. Sharp, funny, principled, anxious, loving, stubborn, honest, brilliant, and unforgettable. Miriam Goddard, the nurse who cared for him during his last weeks, told his parents that Jasiri is truly one of my angels. There have been many times when I thought about quitting this job because watching so much suffering can be overwhelming and emotionally exhausting, but I believe God placed your son in my path to give me the strength to carry on and to remind me not to give up. Jasiri lost a long, hard-fought battle against colorectal cancer in New York, Delaware on April 8, 2026.
Thank you, Tom. Okay.
Jasiri was preceded in death by his maternal grandmother, Ruby Kilmer Shuttlesworth, his maternal grandmother, Margaret Joe Davidson, his grandfathers, Fred L. Shuttlesworth Sr. and Joe Davidson Sr., his grandaunt, Thelma Drew Jones, and his uncles, Fred L. Shuttlesworth Jr. and the Reverend Harold Nestor. He is survived by his parents, Dr. Carol Shuttlesworth and Joe Davidson, his brothers Hakeem and Amani, his stepmother, Brother Lee Watson, his stepbrother, Robert Watson, and a host of cousins, extended family, followers, admirers, and friends, many of which are in this room with us today. Give a round of applause for the life of the city. So, I've been up here a lot, but I will just say that many of you read 2,000 words that I wrote about the series on Facebook on April 10th. If you didn't read it, you can certainly go read it now and see what I thought about my little brother. I guess the main thing I wanted to say to Jasiri, in addition to thank you, something Anthony said kind of resonated with me when my father was working on that part of the obituary, which is how Jasiri changes your life. And I think the amount of tolerance I have, the amount of patience I have, the amount of open-mindedness I have at this point in my life is 95% contributed to not only Jasiri, but the way he lived his life, but who he was. There are certainly stories about Jasiri trying to beat up my bullies that suggested he should have been my older brother. One time we were leaving elementary school, and I'm in the 6th grade, he's in the 3rd. So it was bothering me. I'm like, all right, I'm not dealing with this. I walk away. I hear a commotion. I turn around. I don't know if he had the dude in the headlock or they had him in the headlock. Somebody was in the headlock. And, Jasiri didn't show any fear about anything like that. He certainly didn't show any fear towards me. We argued a lot as children. We got along very well as adults, which I'm very, very appreciative of. I am the last photo he took, the last person he spoke to, the last shoulder rub he got. And Tony, my cousin Tony mentioned in his video that we were watching the national championship together the last night he was actually awake. And I think I misquoted him. So at one point I was telling people the last word he actually said was congratulations. And I told him, hey, just in the game. He said, oh, congratulations. But actually, throughout the night, he had, up to the very end, he was keeping his witness humor So he asked for a couple of adjustments for his spine and so he could be more comfortable, which I was more than happy to do, and was looking forward to doing for the next 40 years, to be honest with you. And he asked for a shoulder rub, and I gave it to him. He had me put it in. He was like, "Oh yeah, you can change careers if you want to. You should consider it." But technically, his last word was stop. Right when he was done. Not like stop, but like, oh, stop. That was good, right? And he hadn't had enough, and I spoke with him. I tried not to crash out on the doctors. I think I succeeded, not in jail. But just wanted to make sure he was getting the absolute best care, and it was very difficult to accept that he was leaving because he was so sharp of mind. People like to be very careful, right? And he just told me a joke, like one of the last things he said, right? And Jasiri also had a habit of, when things were going on during his cancer battle, he would tell my parents to tell me not to worry, as if that was going to happen. But I appreciated that he wanted me not to worry about him and everything else. So, there was also a story about Jasiri. He used to get really annoyed. We went to different junior high schools, went to the same high school 3 years apart. So he had many of the teachers I had. It's, oh, you're Hakeem's brother, whatever. Hated that. Hated it. Which is what happens when you're a younger sibling, I guess. I can't wait. But when I would meet Jasiri's friends, some of the people in the room probably don't even know my name. I'm Jasiri's brother. And I always loved that. Like, it's an honor, honestly. And it always was. Even when we were younger, Jasiri's smarter than me. He is more loving than I am. Debatable on who's better looking, but he's quite handsome. He's quite handsome. He's quite handsome. I go to him for recommendations. I go to him for a lot of things. One of the other quotes we had when we were younger was, I think one time, you know how older people look at younger people and help with technology or what's going on and what's hip. And he's only 3 years younger. I was like, oh, I asked him a question he didn't know. So you're supposed to know these things. And that became a very common inside joke for us for a very long time. He loved throwing that back in my face. He asked me a question. I didn't know. You're supposed to know these things, right? Oh, you're right, and I'm way over my time limit, so I'm going to stop talking, but I just wanted to say how much I love my brother, and yeah. For those of you who are at the burial Thursday, I wasn't playing, I was sleeping with him, so. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for supporting him. Thank you all for loving my brother. Thank you all for dealing with him when he's in his moods. Thank you all for supporting. He has so much support from his friends. Can we give a round of applause to Jasiri's friends? Yes. Not only have you all shown up now, but have you all shown up, throughout this. I think between Josh, Chelsea, I don't want to not name everybody, so I'm not going to start naming people. Aaron, and Chad, and who else? Anthony. Tom. Who else? That DJ Chris Kelsey.
Kelsey, Megan.
All the people who are listening on the right side of the universe. There was certainly a point where, the fact that Jasiri is 2 hours away, while he's going through all these things, made it very difficult as a family to, going to be with him and everything. But his friends were so great that took a lot of that burden off of us to have to be here every single day. We still came up as much as we possibly could. But it was just great just to see that support, and we're really just very thankful for that. So thank you all for that. Thank you all for coming. And I'm going to stop by over my own rules and pass this on to the next section. Since we're in Jasiri Part 2, are there any other friends who were nominated who did not speak earlier who would like to speak now? Who's reconsidered? Here we go. Right here.
I'm not coming up again. I'm just trying to get my way back to my wife.
Chad's back. He has more to say. All right.
I'm starting my 2-minute timer.
I'll do your thing. The toast is over, so y'all can do what y'all want now.
Before I get out of this, though, I hate public speaking.
Put your makeup.
Huh? Oh my God, sorry. Jasiri always made a joke that we're a package deal, we do everything together, so I guess we'll do this together too. We met Jasiri because we were regulars at Two Stones. We expect much time and money at Two Stones, and spent a lot of time with Jasiri and TJ, because Kelsey and I love sassy men. Not in our partners, but in our friends. And TJ and Jasiri, especially Jasiri, was the sassiest of men. And it was during COVID when you really couldn't do anything else, and we just needed something to do, and we got an amazing relationship out of that we continued after he left. I will say the one thing that stayed with me the most was that the first time I came to see him in the hospital, after we sat and cried for a few minutes, because, you know, it happened, he asked me if I was okay and what's been going on with me, and it had been just a harder winter than usual, and he just cared so deeply about my minuscule issues when he was facing something so insurmountable that I think it just really speaks to the person that he is. So, I'm just happy that I got to spend so much time with him at the end, because he's an amazing person, and I'm just glad that I can say that I got to know him over the years that I did, even if we were brought together in such a stupid way. I'm so thankful for Two Stones, even though it kind of sucks now, because he's gone.
We love your brownies.
I made the sourdough. Somebody else made the brownies. Yeah, I made the sourdough. I recently have gotten into sourdough bread. And he was the first person to try the first loaf of bread that I made. And he just sat there with his eyes closed and was like, and I said, that's the best compliment I could ever get. So now I think of him every single time that I bake.
Jasiri was the most sassy, humbling man that I could have ever met. I've never met anybody that could tell me I was doing something wrong in the nicest and meanest way.
Oh, sweetie, no.
All I ever did. We were in a group chat and it was called Spiraling Up. Because the only way that we could get from rock bottom was to go upwards. And he always had the nicest and meanest things to say. But it was the way that made you think about your life and always want to be better. Because being around him made you want to be a better person. And I'm so thankful that I got to spend my time with him and know him. And everybody in this room should be lucky and thankful that we got to know him. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you.
You told us too. Yeah. You got to give me the yellow cards. Oh gosh.
It's my brother, I'll welcome if I want to. All right, so we're gonna need to make an adjustment in this room. Everyone who's in this aisle is going to have to move either to the back or on this side.
This whole row.
No, this is people who are standing on this side. Where is Chris?
Chris said he's out. He's back in.
Chris,
We'll go together.
Okay. Gentlemen.
Everybody, my name is TJ Bordeaux. I've known Jasiri since probably the worst age to have met Jasiri, which was 21. I met Jasiri when I was 21 in 2008 when he was a bartender at TGI Fridays. And and this is just what I've been told, but apparently whoever the bar manager was, they will remain unnamed, had a practice where when they met their quota for the month, it didn't matter how much your tab was. So the first time I met Jasiri, I had a really good time. And my tab was 38 cents. Jasiri, as Chad had mentioned, could fall in and out of your life. We didn't necessarily have a falling out, but I didn't see him for a little while after that, and then he would come back in waves. And it was always great whenever he would come back in for one reason or the other. And I would see him randomly when I was in college or like throughout the years because I continued to stay in New York after that. And then after a while, we ended up working at Two Stones, which is where I met Aaron and Kelsey. We had a really great tandem shift. If you're familiar with the show Scrubs, the two main characters are JB and Turk. We were referred to, and I've told this story to other people, we were referred to as JB and Turk, but I was not JB, I was Turk. And also, I did get fired from Two Stones, so I didn't like my experience as much as Aaron and Kelsey did. However, it was made much better by working there with Jasiri. It was absolutely fantastic. On shift, after work, whatever it was just made better. And I work as a bar manager now at a different restaurant, and randomly through the door walks Jasiri a little less than a year ago. And I said to my general manager, Scott, I was going to hire this guy. And which is really funny because I'm the bar manager now, and the way that I met him was a 38-cent tab. So things seem to have come full circle. And the last thing that I want to reference before I cede my time to Chris, someone spoke about sending memes back and forth. A lot of my time apart from Jasiri, whether we saw each other in person or not, we were constantly sending memes to each other, and there was always one thing that he reminded me: if I liked it too late, it did not count. So check in with your loved ones as much as you can. That's all I have to say.
I look terrible on TV. Don't look bad. To go off of what Tom said a little while ago, I also have made myself an ass in front of Jasiri. So I'll leave those stories out. One funny story that stuck with me the whole time I've still been working at Two Stones was, you're good. One night, I think I'd agreed to close for him instead of get out early, so he got out early and then sat at the bar for the rest of my shift. Which was great, because he ended up tipping me 3 times and opening up 3 separate tabs. But he also, every time I would serve someone, I forgot to give him silverware. And he would make it a point to be like, Ruby, give him silverware. Ruby, give him silverware. So then a couple years later, I sent him a text. I was like, some butthead left a review on Google. He's like, what was it? And I told him I had forgotten to get silverware for this guy. Then he made a couple jokes about it afterward. That was that. But he was always good for, making everyone laugh. He hated my dad jokes, but secretly I think he loved my dad jokes. He did. But yeah, what a guy. We're all gonna miss him. And that's it.
Hey family, just wanted to send a message to let my family know that I love them and I am praying for them, and my cousin will sincerely be missed. My name is Megan and I am Jasiri's cousin. I start the second set of grandchildren of the first cousins. So there's a set that's 50 and up, and there's a set that's 49 and down. And we are the Fab Four. That's myself, Hakimu, Angie, and Jasiri. And I'm gonna miss my cousin. I began to think about what the name Jasiri means. It means bold, courageous, and brave. And any of you watching this can attest and say that he was bold, he was courageous, and he was brave. He was absolutely amazing. Everything that he was going through, he faced it. He was bold, he was courageous, and brave. And I just want to say to my family, we don't understand, we don't know why, but one thing we know, that God is faithful and he will not leave us comfortless. So I'm grateful to have been able to know and experience Jasiri in all his kindness, in all his smirky looks, smirky comments, and playful comments. My cousins know I'm one of the most sensitive ones, so you probably can't play around with me like you do everybody else, but Jasiri had a way. He had a way of doing it and making me laugh. So Jasiri, thank you for being bold. Thank you for being courageous. Thank you for being brave. I love you, and I'll miss you. Love you all.
I had a bunch of jokes written today, but I forgot all of them. Thank you all for all of your kind tributes and all the attention you've been paying. We have one more speaker. That is our father, Joe Davidson. And look forward to hearing what Dad has to say.
All right.
Wow, well, this is, this is both great and very difficult for me. The great part is this enormous crowd. I cannot thank you, all of you, enough for being here and for showing your love for Jasiri. And I also want to give a special thank you shout out. And I hope you all will join me in giving Hakimu a big round of applause. For his love for Jasiri, into a zeal, an enthusiasm for honoring him. And this memorial service, he was the mastermind behind this memorial service. Yeah, he was just on the case relentlessly. And, I feel like I simply cannot thank him enough, so thank you, Hakeem. Thank you. I've been enormously impressed by the series Gravitation before. And it's so evident in this standing room only crowd. He had a way of attracting people and changing their lives like no one I've ever known. He was a proud Black gay man, and he was unafraid to show everything about himself. He had that particular kind of quality, that honesty, and that ability to reach people and draw them into him. During the reading of the obituary, Hakimu mentioned his nurse, Miriam Dodar. She was really on the verge, according to her, of leaving nursing until she met Jasiri in the hospital just a few weeks before he passed. And one of the things that was exceptional about that was that while all of us had known him for some time, some of us for all of his life, some of us since college, the last 2 years when he was working, she had only known him really for days before he was able to change her thinking about leaving the profession because she had seen so much suffering. And he was able basically to rejuvenate her faith in nursing. That was the power of his personality. Now, after, I just want to tell you a little bit about Jasiri's green burial, because it turned out to be a bit of a surprise for us. I was at Park Lawn Cemetery in Rockville, Maryland, and we had arranged for a green burial, which allows a person to be buried without a casket, and the person's body then decomposes into the earth. So that person is returned to the earth. What we didn't realize was that the pallbearers, some of whom are here today, would have to carry his body outside the casket to the grave. He was wrapped only in a shroud. Now, just to be clear, the body was transported from the funeral home here, Congo Funeral Home, to the cemetery in a rental casket, which I didn't know existed. And so you can rent a casket like you could rent a tux to go to a funeral. And so he was in a casket in the hearse, but once once we got to the gravesite, it was on a slight hill. The casket was on like a rolling stretcher, so the pallbearers pushed it up the hill. But then as we got closer to the grave, the casket was open. And to our surprise, Jasiri, he was just there in a shroud, but his head was exposed. So that too was another surprise. The biggest surprise, however, was we were told that the pallbearers would be the ones who had to go into the grave and collect the body from those of us from the other pallbearers. So there were 6 pallbearers. 2 pallbearers, including Hakimu and Chris, who I think is here, got into the grave. Oh, I see a hand way in the back. Got into the grave, and I was trying to hold Jasiri's head and his on the left side of his shoulders. And in a way, it was a bit. I guess it was real. It was so meaningful for me to hold Jasiri while I handed him to his older brother, who was in the grave, to collect the body. I had never even heard of anything like that. I had not heard of anything like that until really just a few minutes before we got to the hospital. But it turned out to be one of the most meaningful, personal, and intimate experiences I could ever hope to have. When we were in the hospital shortly before he died, Hakimu and I were there that night. And it was the night when Jasiri told us that he wanted to, he was going to do Delaware's Death with Dignity Act, in which he could administer himself some medicine, which would put him to sleep forever, basically. Unfortunately, he died before that act could be implemented because of the 15-day period. But we hugged that night, and we were on either side of him in his bed. And we were all crying. We were crying. And he leaned over and said, "You were the best daddy I could have." And I can't tell you what that did for me. And I told him I was so honored, and I thanked him for coming out of his mother on my birthday. I don't know how he chose to do that, but believe me, I appreciate it. And he said that when I said, "I'm glad you were born on my birthday," he said, "I'm sorry I don't give you good gifts." The fact of the matter is, Jasiri could give some very good gifts.
Oh, yeah.
But what I so wanted from him was not any kind of present, just his presence. And I want that presence now more than ever. You know, it's so difficult, you know, as everyone knows, to lose a child. I guess it's even more difficult, though, to see your child dying over a long period of time. You know, this is a celebration. I don't want to dilute that atmosphere. But I also need to be true by telling you, I can't, you know, the pain that he suffered for so long is really upsetting. It still makes me angry. I don't think anybody should go through that. I see no need for it whatsoever. He wanted to donate his body to science, kind of the last wish. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that because of the bureaucratic policies related to the medical establishment. But I am so thankful that now he has relief from pain. So I'm doing my best to focus on all of the joy that Jasiri has given us for all of these years. And the presence of all of you here, you know, it's not only comforting, but it kind of renews my spirit. And so I just want to say thank you very much again. And I want to say thank you, Jasiri, for being my son. I will love you always and forever.
Beautiful.
All right. That is the end of this part of our program. As one of the things I refer to myself as is Jasiri's opening act. And so we're now going to close this program with a group chant. We'll do Jasiri Lives Forever. Is that one of the?
Yeah, I love you forever and always.
Love you forever and always. All right. So everyone in the room, we're going to say on the count of 3.
I love you forever and always.
We're going to say Jasiri, I love you forever and always. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Jasiri, I love you forever and always.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so that concludes this edition of the Jasiri Show. And for those of you on the live stream, we're going to end the live stream. We're going to miss all the fun we're about to have. But there is food in the back. There is more beverage in the front. Real quick, thank you to Dr. Steve Downing and Darius Woodford, my really good friends and family since almost 30 years now, getting really close to it, for coming out and helping support this event. And keeping people going crazy these last couple of years as well. But if all of you could be really helpful as we move to the tables and whatnot, so we can kind of facilitate this next session, that would be great.
Should we move the chairs to the side?
Sure. Ms. Matthew?
Should we move the chairs to the sides?
Okay. All right. So if you want to keep sitting in your chair, that's fine, but everybody else is going to move the chairs. And all the volunteers. You know, a lot of people keep saying, what kind of help do you need? This would be a really good time to come to the front and help us with this part. So all folks who would consider themselves volunteers can come up and help us with that. And thank you.
Take care of your glasses up so they don't get knocked over.
Oh, boy. I don't ever stack on them, but all right, thank you. Just it's like one of the it's not like one of those early days, to be honest. I mean, That means there ain't no phone. Right? Nah, we don't need that.
They're doing the original one.
Yeah, they're going back. Yeah, they're going back. They're going back.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's,
You know, that's awesome. What are we doing? Hey.
It's nice to It's nice to officially meet you. Doing good. Oh, it's good.
You know, well spoken, So you're in there. I just want to make sure you get
We came from, that's my husband, we came from, this is Ted, this is Hakimo. We came from Southern Maryland.
Not too bad.
No, we wouldn't. Yeah, I only need
I'm gonna say. Just older and more annoying. We're gonna say.
Every day I was wrestling.
Yeah, most of it is stuff. They think we put too much down there. All brothers now I gotta make sure the food gets distributed correct.
Your mama bet way back. Remember Melissa? Okay, and it's easy. You know, yeah, it's easy, but you can remember. Yeah, our time, what they told me to say, is in their golden sister and their love. That's so good. Wonderful young lady.
I'm Betsy's friend, Liz. I brought her down from
It may sound strange, but I'm glad I got to meet him this way.
I will give you long. That's my name is Sean. I'm a series on my
Yeah, I've been working a little bit, but I just wanted to say beautiful service for you guys and be there for your Jesus. Thank you for enlightening this beautiful service. I'll remind you where.
Great job, really, really good. I recognize your name from Okay, now we
I can run my life.